Alright guys, I'm finally putting my brand new GoPro Hero 7 Black to the test. You probably noticed a difference in graphics, not filming on my phone anymore. So let me know what you guys think. So in case you haven't noticed, Jeep has a new face. It's now white, no more black grille. Purchased this on eBay for 60 bucks. You won't see a lot of these grills, but I finally found it. I've been wanting one for quite some time. Makes the Jeep look so much better. But that's not what we're talking about today. So notice that my front bumper is missing. Yes, I bought a winch. So I've been doing a lot of mall crawling lately, and I figured, you know what? It's time for me to buy something I don't need. And plus, on a positive note, he'll make great content. I purchased a winch plate on Amazon for about $50 more. It is sold separately, of course. A couple modifications have to be made. I haven't decided what my full idea is on this yet. I'm thinking about either bolting it, using those bolt holes and bolting it to the top of the 2x6 tubing. I need a long enough bolt to go all the way through the bumper. And I trust bolts more than I trust welding, especially my welds. I could bolt it to the top, but I'm afraid it'll hit my grill because my grill comes to about here. So I think I might trim it down a bit and maybe weld it to the front, and maybe put some more support on the bottom. But haven't fully decided yet, but I'm pretty sure that's where I'm going to go with it. And as far as the winch goes, comes with everything. Comes with the fuse panel, I believe that's what it is. Comes with the fair lead. Didn't come with a rolling fair lead, but I like the way these look better, honestly. And comes with a winch remote. Comes with hardware. Comes with the hook. And what else? Comes with all the cable. So yeah, it's a pretty much complete kit. The only thing it doesn't come with, as far as I'm concerned, is the switch, I believe. I don't see a switch. It's made from a company called Wild Bear. I've never heard of them. I don't think you guys have either. The only thing I'm familiar with is Warren, but Warren can be expensive sometimes. And this one I bought for $270 on Amazon for everything. And it's a 10,000 pound winch, so price is pretty much right. But first things first is the bumper. You can have a strong winch, but if your bumper's not strong, there's almost defeating the purpose. So I've added some gusset supports. I've made a video about this as well. A lot of you guys may be bashing on me about these brackets. Sorry, they are the stock brackets. I believe this is 1/8 inch, which isn't that thick. This is 3/16 inch, which is thicker. I like this stuff better, but this stuff definitely got the job done for what I am doing. So I'm gonna keep the brackets. A lot of you guys like to put 1/4 inch plate and weld to the unibody and bolt it all the way through with grade 8 bolts. I am gonna use grade 8 bolts, but I'm not gonna change the bracketry. Most of you guys are all about strength. I'm all about rigidity. You can make a thin piece of metal pretty strong, and that's pretty much what I've done. As long as you do it right, it should work. But I will, however, add some metal to this. Now this is two 22 gauge sheet metal welded together from the unibody, and this doesn't seem that strong. I've used this bumper for multiple things, and this did not budge, but it's starting to bend out a little bit. It just seems weak. So I'm going to get rid of these tabs right here, use some grade 8 bolts, and get some of this thick steel that looks like it's not quite a 1/4 inch, but it's thick enough. Gonna put that on the inside because the bracket goes on this side. If I put it on this side, it's not going to fit anymore. So I'm going to put it on this side, weld it here on the outside and the top and bottom. And I think that's going to give me the strength I need in order for this bumper to work to its full capacity. Got the winch plate out. I also got the winch out ready. I want to wait till I get the winch so I can see how it fits and mocks up. So I'm going to put it on here. Just kind of get a rough estimate where it's supposed to go. I believe that is backwards. Yeah, that's better. So originally I was going to put it down here, because stuff like this, you want it centered with the brackets. The reason why, if it's centered with the brackets, the pulling force on the brackets is equal. But if you go too below the brackets or too high above the brackets, it could cause the bumper to teeter back and forth. But I have 3 bolts in there, and if I use strong enough bolts, I don't think that'll be an issue. So I am roughly centered with the brackets, but I want to go up a little bit, like to here. I also want to go back because this winch plate sticks out too far. So I'm either going to put it on the top like this, or I'm going to cut it and have it sit in this far. And I haven't cut the plate yet, and there's already a clearance issue. So we're going to have to address that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this bracket. I'm going to clean off this paint and then start welding. But first thing is first, I'm going to take some measurements, make sure everything fits, make sure this clears because I need this to be functional in order for the winch to work properly. Make sure it doesn't hit the bumper, and we're going to do that right now. Alright guys, so I have the winch stacked on a couple scrap pieces. This is kind of the look I'm going for. I'm not sure if I should go lower with it. Another thing I figured out, this lever doesn't turn like most winches. It pulls up, and that engages your winch into neutral. Right here it says clutch in, pull up, clutch out. I was turning this thing, couldn't figure it out. Turns out this is how you do it. So gotta make sure this clears the bumper, and it barely does, but I don't have everything fully mocked up yet. I noticed the winch plate slightly off-centered, but that's roughly where it's gonna stay. So I'm gonna bolt it up to the plate, and that will give me my exact measurement of the winch itself, and I can go ahead and move the plate back and forth. I don't really care if it's slightly off-centered, as long as all the other instruments have no interference with anything on the bumper. Alright, here is the winch lowered. I don't know why, I kind of like that better. Plus the leg makes a little bit more sense. So as far as clearance issues, this method works better. And it's centered with the bumper, which is usually what you want when it comes to pulling force, like we talked about earlier. And the lever clears a lot easier. Not to mention, your circuit breaker for the winch usually sits on top like that. Now, I might move mine elsewhere. I like to move it inside the engine bay or behind the grill, because I'm trying to keep the winch as bare as possible. But if I had to put this on here, I'll be able to put it on the top as well. But the other way I had it, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I'm kind of leaning more towards this now. As far as how far it sticks out, it doesn't stick out that much further. It's almost flush, but it comes out about a good 2 more inches. But I got a little bit of room to cut it back. And this isn't bolted up yet. Once I get this bolted up, I can really see if I'm able to cut any excess material off in order to push this back a little more. I'm definitely going to add like a secondary bull bar to protect this, but I'm not going to be wheeling this thing hard. But for what I'm doing, this is definitely going to work, and I definitely want performance over looks. I mean, it is looks as well, but I also want to have some functionality to it. Alright, time to bolt the winch plate up. They have square nuts. There's a little slot they slide it into like so. And it comes with 2 different sets. You got 4 of the long skinny ones, and you got 2 of the short fatter ones. The fatter ones go to the Fair League, I'm assuming, because I tried putting it up to here and didn't work. Plus there's only 2 of these and there's 4 of these. So the thin ones are the ones that go on the winch. Alright, in order to put the bolts installed, get the square nut, goes inside that little slot, like so. Then you put your plate on, then you put your bolts on. It comes with a washer and a lock washer. Then you want to screw that in, tighten it down, and your winch plate will now be installed. Alright, let me get the rest of these installed real quick. Go ahead and put your plate on. Alright, we're getting somewhere. You can go ahead and measure it center and center. I'm going to mark it with my chalk. I'm going to grind it down and weld it. There's not a lot of room to cut off any material. That's about a 1/2 inch worth. So I might just leave the plate like it is and maybe have some tube bent. I still gotta make my supports for the bottom. I'm gonna use some square tubing for that, but already looks good. Excited. All right, let's continue. All right, guys. Here it is a little while later. Got the winch fully installed. Sorry I didn't film the process of me putting it on. I was kind of in a rush. Who would have thought that driving without a bumper is illegal? But on an important note, got it installed, looks pretty good. I went ahead and changed up my design a little bit. My biggest concern is this. I didn't bring this out all the way because my original plan was have 2 bull bars come out and around and loop down here, and that would have been my extra support. But it was interfering with the fitment of my winch, so I ran an 1/8 inch thick plate of steel instead. And plus it looks a lot better and it's more streamlined, which is what I wanted. I might add an extra piece, goes from out here and it 45s out and goes across, and it 45s back that way. And a lot of you may ask, well, why don't you just bring this piece completely out? Well, it would have covered the bolt holes, and I didn't want that. And plus, this is part of my original design, and I was gonna cut it off, but I already fully welded it, and I didn't feel like going through all that hassle, so I just left it like it was. So I'm just gonna add to it later on. But if you notice, it's slightly bent, because I have used this once already, but it was already bent when I welded it, so I'm thinking the heat might have warped it, but it has not budged. Plus you got this piece that adds extra tension support, so you don't have to worry about teetering forward that way. So I'm pretty sure this does add a little bit of rigidity, but mainly for looks, but it's also functional because I wanted it attached to this top piece, because this top piece is the strongest part of the bumper. But obviously we can't end this video without showing you guys putting it to the test. But first thing is first, I wanted to rerun these wires, maybe run them through here, just to cover them up a little bit more because I don't want them showing. Pop the hood. So you come in here, ran the winch cable. It does come with a little bit of excess. If you want to cut it off and resolder it, be my guest, but I wasn't that worried about it. I just have it tucked away nicely. So you just take the wing nuts off, depends on what kind of battery cables you have. Just pull these off. Take that one off. I'm gonna take this one off next. Now this one's a little bit different. I believe I wasn't able to get the washer on there because either there's too much shit on here, or I don't think it was able to fit. Yeah, I'm gonna take this one off real quick. I don't know why I didn't run it to the top. Probably wasn't able to fit. Okay, now I know why I wasn't able to run it to the top post here, because it doesn't fit. So most terminals, all terminals, come with the tightening bolt, and it does fit to that. So worst case, you could drill the hole out, make it fit this, or just run it to this one. It's a 3/8, and the negative terminal is 5/16. So obviously red with positive, black with negative. Just like that. Right. I'll tell you what, sure faded quickly, but that's gotta be my only complaint. It's been a great winch. Not to mention, the price is right. So, I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna run it inside the second one here maybe. I'm gonna run it down low. Ooh, this is gonna be challenging. I'm getting somewhere. Just gotta feed the wire. And if I can get my fat claws in there. One thing about these Cherokees, not a lot of engine bay room. If you can, fish the wire up. So I'm not sure if you can see that. There's the wire inside there. I'm trying to fish it through forward past the radiator, and it's a little bit challenging. I can't really get to it from the underneath side. Well, maybe I can. Gently. Don't want to break my nice grill. Now, run the black cable. See if it'll be just as easy. You run through the same slot. Just make it look nicer. Just like that. Now these terminals are labeled. However, I don't remember which one is which, but there were letters on the cables and letters on the terminals. So you had A, B, and C. Yellow was C, and red was A, and black was B. Black is obviously ground. It's ground to the casing here. And then you got a secondary ground wire that runs your fuse box. So you're gonna run those two to this post right here. That's your ground. And then your power wire screws in there. It already came screwed in. And you just gotta run your red wire to the positive terminal of the battery. Pretty straightforward. And the yellow wire, run it to this inside post right here. Keep in mind, there's a lot of sharp metal and pointy screws in here. So when you pull this wire through, be sure you don't sheathe the sleeving off, because that would be bad. Ground wire, I don't have to worry about as much, but positive, definitely don't want that happening. Alright, got that through. I might reroute it around the battery instead of through the inside, because I have so much length. Pull it through. Whatever way the wire wants to bend, let it bend that way. And whatever excess, just tuck it down here like so. Put it up like that. There you have it. Now run the second one. Same concept. Sacrifice your hand to get in there. Through. Loop it around. Take out as much slack as you can. You don't want to get snagged on anything. And run it around. And run it under this hose. And try and keep it away from the negative post as much as possible. There you go, just like that. Another thing you're gonna want to check is make sure your cables don't touch any of your accessory pulleys or belt. And right here, you got the clutch fan. You definitely gotta be cautious of that. And it looks like they're out of the way. They're a little snug, so I don't think we're having any issues. So it comes with a quarter remote and a wireless remote. And since it does come with a wireless remote, I decided I'm not going to run the switch, considering I'm able to run from inside the vehicle using this. Do the test. I'm going to go ahead and try the cord one first. So it's plugged in like so. Winch out. Maybe. Oh, that's how it works. So to put it in, you line up a little tab with a notch, and you turn until it locks. And to remove it, you pull this tab, turn it left, pull it out. So try that. Winch out. That works. Twist, pull. Wireless remote. Step back. See how far it can reach. Still works. Still working. Still working. It's pretty far. Still working. Okay, so it reaches pretty far. This yard is 1/2 acre and it's still working. So that's about a good 200-300 feet. It's pretty good. I thought it was less than that. Cause I use it over there. That's my house. I use it over there and I had a hill and it quit working. I'll say I was about from this tree, about from here to there, but there was a big hump. So I'm guessing the reception is bad if you're trying to go through something. I guess the hill might have interfered with the reception. I'm not really sure, but didn't think it would work that far. But now we can go ahead and try it, see how it works. I know it works, I've already tried it, but I just want to show you guys for proof. And that's what we're about to do right now. All right, got the Jeep ready. This is where I tested it last. As you can see, my tire marks. What I did was I had to move my trailer back here. This was a couple months ago. It just got done raining. The ground's all slick. Just kind of like now. The ground's all wet. I didn't have my 4-wheel drive at the time. I had my front drive shaft disconnected. I was trying to pull this trailer up. I couldn't do it. This was my old tires too. So I hooked it to this tree, pulled it up slowly but surely. I might need a dual battery, but just pulled it right up. It did draw a lot of amperage, which does kind of concern me, but it did really good considering the time and money I put into it. All right, so free spool, just like this, and this connect. Just pull right out. There you go. Grab a hook. Pull it around here. Tie it to this tree. Hook. Get the winch all tight. Oh, I forgot. It's in neutral. There you go. There you have it, guys. Winch did good. Yeah, mate, yeah. There you go. Works like a charm. Bumper did not budge. I honestly thought it would. I don't have very beefy brackets on there. But it's all about engineering, am I right? I'm still concerned about this, however. A lot of you professionals out there, if you think I should add an extra piece here, let me know in the comments below. Or if I should just leave it and wing it for now. I think adding an extra piece there would be more sufficient. But turned out really good. Considering the time and money I have put into this, which wasn't much. It's a budget build for sure. I might need a dual battery setup in the near future, because I do want to run a compressor in this thing. And just having one battery is not going to cut it, because the alternator was getting a little low. I don't want to have too much of a load on there and fry out my alternator or battery. But that's a project for another day. So yeah, if you like this video or this winch, give it a thumbs up, and I'll leave a link to this product in the description below. And thank you for watching.